Hi, everybody. My name is Julie Boglish. It's nice to meet you all. I am a writer and artist. I actually have about 5 or 6 books published at this time, and I do a lot of my own artwork, including cover art. And today we are going to be talking about 5 things I wish I knew before I published. Roll credits. All right. Number 1. Don't expect to become famous overnight. This one was, I took this one a bit hard when I first started. I didn't realize how difficult it would be to actually publish and the process that would be entailed after the fact. So I had it in my head that basically once you got published, you hand it over to someone else and they do all the hard work and suddenly you become famous and everyone reads your books and loves you and adores you, and yeah, you get what my point is. Unfortunately, that is not actually the case. A lot of times you end up finding yourself kind of stuck, kind of promoting and getting your books out and then getting no reaction or getting minimal reaction because you had no idea what you were doing. And that's kind of what happened to me. So don't fall into that trap. Be prepared to actually write and get published, and don't overthink the aspects of marketing, and don't underestimate them either. You really want to just remember writing and publishing is not a short journey. It's one that takes time, it takes effort. So, yeah, you're not going to be famous overnight. All right, with that, number 2, make sure to read the fine print in contracts. This is huge when publishing. I had the unfortunate situation of working with a publisher that ended up not actually being a person you should work with. They screwed me over pretty hard, but that's a story for another time. And thankfully, I kept the contract and was able to find my way out of it with a lawyer. I could have probably avoided that if I had been more careful reading the contract and just been a little bit more persistent in the details of the contract. So that's my second point. Make sure to read, and study the contract. You're welcome. All right. Number 3. The cover is your most important asset. Don't skimp on it. Don't. I repeat. Oftentimes, writers and such, and even readers say don't judge a book by its cover. They do. They always do. So what you want to do is you want to make sure your cover is as solid as you can make it. Get the best cover artist out there you can find. Do whatever you can to try to make sure that it stands out. If that means going to a friend who is a artist and asking them, "Hey, who can I talk to that does cover art?" Don't let them make it. No. Cover art is not the same as graphic art. You need to find someone who is professional and works in cover arts and works in the industry. They will know what they're doing. They will know what the genre is that you're looking for, that your cover can best fit and your story can best fit. You don't really want to have, for instance, a nude guy on a cover of your young adult adventure story about 2 girls. Doesn't work. So you want to make sure that your cover fits your story, fits the genre, and that you're working with a professional. I did not realize that when I first started, and so I had the unfortunate incident of my cover being mediocre at best and not very eye-catching at worst, which is a huge blunder and a big problem I've had to deal with ever since. So avoid that as best as you can. With that, number 4, enjoy the process of writing, because that is the easy part. And yes, that is the easy part. Writing is a lot of fun, and it's something that can be almost therapeutic for some people, but that's the thing. A lot of people think that's the hard part. It's not. The publishing, the marketing, everything that comes after is actually the main thing that you need to worry about. And I wish I had known that earlier, because I then might have been a little bit more prepared for it and might have enjoyed the process of writing a bit more, knowing what to expect going forward. So make sure that you actually know what you're doing and know basically that writing is the first step in becoming an author. It's the first aspect that you are looking for. But the main thing you want to do is just be prepared for the publishing and marketing, because that's the hard part. That's where everything you've learned up till now is put to the test. You need to know how to contact publishers. You need to know and be prepared for rejection after rejection after rejection. I've heard stories of people being rejected over 100 times before they got their acceptance. Sometimes it was acceptance at a place that had previously rejected them. That happens. Just keep going. But even once you get accepted to be published, the main thing is the aftermath. You need to prepare and be prepared to do the work. As I said earlier, you won't become famous overnight. So you need to make sure that you know where you're going and what you're doing with the marketing. And marketing, that's a story for another episode and another day. And of course, number 5, you are not the exception. Yes, you heard me correct. You and I are not the exception to the becoming published and getting famous and all of those rules. No matter how lucky or fortunate or whatever you are, you're not going to get out there in the first batting of your story. At least not within the first couple weeks, unless you really knew what you're doing and really prepared. And that's where this came in, where I wish I had known this earlier, because then maybe I would have known to prepare marketing a bit better. Mainly because it's not an easy thing to do when you are not aware of where you're going. You want to make sure that you know what you're trying to sell and know who you want to sell it to, which is something a lot of people are not aware of and do not understand, including myself. I had no idea what I was doing with marketing. I had no idea what I was doing with publishing. I was just like, oh, I'll write this book, get it out to people, everyone will read it. I'll be famous, I'll be great. No, you are not the exception. You are not the J.K. Rowling or the Patterson or the Nora Roberts. You need to work at it, and you have to know what you're doing and be prepared for that first book, that second book, even that third book, not getting out as far as you expected. Because that happens. Sometimes people do luck out. But don't expect to luck out. Don't expect to be the one in a million. Expect that you're going to have to work hard. Expect that you're going to have to use money. Expect that you're going to have to do whatever you can to get readers to read your book. Because there are many, 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 many books out there that are fantastic that can very easily be a distraction from yours. So be prepared for that. And be prepared that sometimes there's just not that interest at the current moment. And that is something that is hard to learn, but is very essential when it comes to publishing. So, yeah, those are my 5 tips for things I wish I knew before I published. What are some of yours? Because I'm actually really curious. Publishing is a very difficult thing, and so is marketing, but we all have to do it at some point or another. So I'm very curious to hear their thoughts. Post them in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell if you want to hear more tips and tricks from me from both artwork and writing. I will see you all next week. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye!